Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I decided I'm going to be completely casual coming into work today. Hence the shorts, and that's just because I had no meetings today. So I thought, well, why the heck not? So this week I didn't really have too much of a hectic week, so I actually don't really have too much to provide an update on. And I thought instead of doing the usual kind of vlog updates around my week, what I would do was provide my thoughts around what advice I would give to myself now at 40 if I was in my 20s or in my late teens and early 20s. And I mean, it's something that I think about often, because one of the things that you cannot do, of course, is rewind time. But I often kind of reflect back and I think about who I was, and all the things that I was doing in my 20s, and how much further ahead I would have been if I didn't squander it. And I do feel that a lot of people do the same, and naturally, that's the benefit of hindsight, is that you look back and you realize, hang on, why did I do all of those things? But really, for those that are at that age bracket that might be watching this, I thought it would be useful to share just some of my thoughts, because if you can benefit from experience, then perhaps you're not going to make the same mistakes. And I jotted down seven of them. And the first one was really that what you do in your 20s matters. It really does matter. As I mentioned, if you work hard and you focus and you're committed around your goals and have clarity around what you're looking to do, you will be infinitely further ahead in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, of course. And I found that, when I was in my 20s, especially early 20s, I really didn't take very much seriously, and I messed around, through university and pretty much till I was about 25, 26, somewhere around there. And those I know that really put their head down and focused in and got serious about life were way ahead, as they got to the early 30s and now in their 40s. So I think one of the things that we really have to remind ourselves about, if you're in that age bracket, is that it's often quite popular to do that and just to mess around and have fun, because you're at that age when you feel kind of invincible. But the reality is that life passes by so quickly, and it'll literally pass by in an instant, and you wake up realizing that you're already in your 30s or your 40s. So that's the one thing that I would just remind myself about. And the second one is that you really want to start saving early. Oftentimes when you are in your 20s, you feel like retirement is just way far away, and it just feels like you're not even earning a lot of money at that stage. So what do you have to save? But it's really the compounding that starts to take effect over a 10 to 20 to 30 year period. And the earlier you start, the better, the further ahead you will be. What I do know is that at retirement age, 1 in 4 are ready to retire, and that's pretty much across the globe. I think in certain countries it's even worse. And I know here in South Africa that majority of people are just not ready to retire, and oftentimes you'll see a lot of older individuals are working much later. Are working until they're much older in life, because they just don't have the funds to be able to retire. In fact, a few weeks ago I was chatting to one of my clients, and he was telling me that his dad, who is in his mid-60s, still working and still has to work because he still has to provide for himself. He doesn't have enough money saved up in order to retire properly, and that is the reality for a lot of individuals. And you can avoid that by really starting to save early. And because the older you get, the harder it's going to be to be able to save a significant amount, because you have more responsibilities and lifestyle inflation, which is where you want to keep up with the Joneses, is a real thing. So really start saving early. The third thing is really, and again, this is my opinion, is get started in business. You want to get started in business, and even if you are working for someone else, you want to do something on the side, because business is really the path to true wealth. And I truly believe that now, especially having run my own business now for the last 2 years and having worked for someone else for pretty much my entire career. A paycheck is a safe bet, but unfortunately, it's not going to make you wealthy. And really, the businesses and creating value out of a business, having equity in a business, getting involved in a business, is the way to true financial freedom. And if that means that you need to, in your early 20s, go and work for someone else that's in a startup, and really learn the skills, experiment, try different things, figure out what you want to do, but get the skills of business early on. Learn how a business runs, all the different functions within a business, that'll give you enough skills and enough experience in order to start your own thing. That is really going to be something that's going to help you to build true wealth in your life. The fifth thing is to work on yourself, and that is to work on your mindset, work on your personal development. Ultimately, is the cornerstone, or should be the cornerstone of your life, because if you work constantly on your limiting beliefs, your level of self-awareness, your emotional intelligence, those things are going to help you to, one, understand yourself better, two, understand others and the world better, and to help you to function in it, and to help you to work well with others. Because if you're building a business and you're working with others, which you have to do, whether that's vendors or clients or suppliers or whoever that is, if you can understand yourself better and how you fit into the picture and understand others better, it's going to help you to be more effective. And the path to that is ultimately through professional and personal development. And that means, reading books, going to seminars, listening to podcasts, and being very intentional with your learning, and being very intentional around the things that are around you and that are affecting you. And I mean, I started investing in personal development probably about 12 years ago, and I haven't stopped, and I will never stop, because I'm constantly learning more and more about myself, more and more about others, and it's a highly fulfilling journey. And now, I'm able to help others through the journey. The next one, which is number six, which is to take care of your body. It is the most important thing in your life is your health. If you don't have your health, you've got nothing else. And I mean that sincerely, because very often when you're young, you tend to not worry about that at all, because you look great, you feel great, your metabolism is going strong, and you can eat whatever you want, and you won't put on weight, or you don't feel sluggish. All of those things are great when you're younger, but the older and older you get, if you haven't built the habit and you haven't built in yourself the kind of routines of watching what you eat, taking care of your health, those things start to come back. And I've noticed now, a lot of individuals that didn't instill the kind of habit of going to the gym or eating right, now they really are suffering from a health point of view. And it really starts early. It starts young. And I mean, that's one of the things now I'm so aware of, because I've got young kids. What am I eating? How am I taking care of my body? By going to the gym, by going and walking, by exercising, and doing all of those things. So, I'm not saying that you necessarily need to become a health freak, but start to instill the habits of a healthy lifestyle into your life at an early age. And the last one is your inner peace. And I know this sounds quite philosophical or spiritual. However, it's really something that I've started to realize as I've gotten older, and as I've started to be surrounded by individuals that some of them highly financially successful, doing very well for themselves. They've got all of these material things, and they've got the paycheck, and they've got live in great houses and have all of these amazing cars, but they don't have one thing, and that's their peace. They don't have their internal peace. They're completely stressed. They are constantly thinking about work. They've got this massive debt because of all the material things that they have. And I'm not saying that's necessarily everyone, but I would say most of the people that I know that that are doing extremely well for themselves it's come at a sacrifice. It's come at a cost, and that cost is their inner peace. It doesn't matter. And I heard this last week, from someone, and it doesn't really matter how many cars you got in the garage, how many houses you have around the world, and ultimately, if you don't have that inner peace and you aren't content with who you are as a person, and aren't grateful for the life that you have, you will never be contented, no matter how many material things that you have in your life. And that's one of the things that I truly appreciate. So it's one of the things that now, as I'm building my business, I'm starting to realize that there's certain sacrifices that I'll need to make in order to build that business. But it cannot come at the cost of my kids. Cannot come at the cost of my relationship that I have with my wife. Cannot come at the cost of my inner mental health. And those are the things that give me peace. And I will continue to build this business, but it's not going to come at that cost. And maybe that means that it's going to take longer for me to do that, and that's cool. And I understand that now, and I know that now. I'm not going to burn myself out at the expense of those key fundamental things in my life. And that's what brings me inner peace. So with that said, those are the 7 things that I just wanted to share today. The brutally honest advice I would give my 20-year-old self. And if you are in your 20s and around that age, even if you're in your 30s, I hope that you can apply, or even if you're in your 40s, to be honest, you can take those lessons and apply them, because it's those are some of the things that are lessons that I've had to learn. And if you can learn that no matter what age you are, then I'm glad that this was made and it was valuable for you. So with that, that comes the end of this, and I'll catch you guys next week for the next video.